Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Our April 11, 2022 meeting is called to order. We'll have prayer and pledge of allegiance, then we'll get into our other agenda items. Will we stand for prayer? Let us pray. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for bringing us here safely so that we can conduct the business of this great city in a manner that is not only decently and in order, but in a manner that's pleasing to you and even satisfying to the residents. We give you glory and praise now. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Harrington.
Please follow me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Next item is the reading and approval of the minutes of our March 28, 2022 meeting.
Mayor, make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of March 28 and ask for approval.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to approve. Council, any questions or comments? Any public comments about this motion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Yes.
Harrington, P.T.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item is we have a guest speaker, Ms. Alicia Pierce Gonzalez. I don't know if we have, or is it Audra Edney? You're Audra, so we have Audra here today for us. And this is the Association for Retarded Citizens, also known as ARC. And so we'll just have you, Ms. Edney, would you speak into the microphone?
Okay.
And state your first and last name for us, please.
Okay, good evening. My name is Audra Edney, and I am the fundraising and community outreach advisor for the Natchitoches ARC. And on this evening, I am coming on behalf of our director, Alicia Pierce Gonzalez, who could not be here. And the reason that I'm here is because most of you probably do not know what Natchitoches ARC is or even where we're located. Well, the Natchitoches ARC is a 501c3 organization. We're nonprofit, and we serve clients right here in Natchitoches Parish who are have disabilities and developmental delays, and we have been in this parish for over 59 years. And the reason that we're here is because during COVID, we were closed for 2 years and just reopened on January the 3rd, actually. And during that time, we suffered a great financial loss. We still had to pay for our building that we use, and now we're at a point to where we're in dire need of funding just to keep our doors open, our clients to continue to be able to come and have somewhere safe while their caregivers can either go to work, take care of business, etc. And we are struggling. And we are located right here at 127 Airport Road, right next to the Valley Farmer Co-op. And we've suffered vandalism. We had our catalytic converter stolen off one of our vans, so now we're down to one van. And we are in great need of sponsorship from the city of Natchitoches. We're like fundraising. I've been out touching the different businesses, banks, etc., trying to just keep our doors open, because if we close, then there's nowhere for our clients to go. So we are an important factor right here in the community, and we need the village to stand behind us and help us to keep our doors open. So I don't know if somebody would like to come out and maybe visit with us, visit with our director, and just see what we have going on, see what we have to offer. We offer pre-vocational, we offer supported employment, day habilitation services, and most of these clients, they come and this is really their supplement employed, because most of them are on fixed incomes. So this is how they get their extra income, just to sometimes buy meals. So we're trying to get a grand reopening going. We plan on doing that probably toward early June, where I'm getting with different vendors and businesses to help fund that. But if you guys know anybody in the community that can stand behind us, that can help sponsor our clients, help sponsor our building, and just keep us open, then, I mean, we'd be greatly appreciated because, again, it is very important that these clients have somewhere to come. And again, some of them are your family members, some of them may be your classmates. And at some point, one of your family members may need our services. So by us keeping our doors open, then that's a great asset to the community. So again, we are also enrolling, so if you know anyone who need our services, send them our direction. I did give Mr. PT some of our pamphlets. If anybody wants some, I'll have some when we're getting ready to leave. Also, come by, see who we are, talk to us, talk to our director, spend time with our clients. They are the biggest and brightest part of our day. And I'd like to thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to speak on our behalf, on our NARC's behalf. And again, we need y'all, we need y'all to stand behind us. So thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Ms. Edney, for being here with us today. Look, real quickly, I don't know if council or maybe some other public comments or questions. Was that NARC at Raising Cane's the other day?
That was us, yes, sir.
You all were doing a fundraiser?
Yes.
There, okay. All right. Are you familiar with Red River Industries?
I am familiar with Red River.
Is it, to kind of help me to understand similarities to what NARC does and that particular entity?
Well, the difference, Red River Industries and NARC, we also go out and clean buildings. We have janitorial services that we go out. We clean the behavioral health building. We clean the agriculture building. So we need new contracts. And the difference between the two of us is not really a difference. We're kind of one and the same. Touch of Grace, we're kind of one and the same. We're all providing the same types of services to the community, to the clients that need our services. So, yeah, kind of the same.
Were you part of one out on Highway 1 going past the bowling alley? Was that part of your?
No, ma'am, that's not us. Yeah. We've actually been on Airport Road, I think for as long as they've been open.
I know that one over there.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I would like to say, I know you do great work. On behalf of myself, I would like to pledge $300 towards your
Thank you so much.
personally.
Thank you.
Look, you may have said it, I'm sorry. The lion's share of your funding comes from?
We are Medicaid funded,
Okay.
yes. And again, during our time of closure, we didn't have any clients that came to the center. So we had very few that still did our contracts with behavioral health and also with the agriculture building. So these clients also have to be paid during the money, with the same money that's coming for their services, as well as the rent, the lights, the gas, et cetera. So we were still a fully functioning center, but without clients. We had maybe 4 or 5 clients that went out on a daily basis for an hour a day that did cleaning services. Yeah.
So have you built the client base back up, or?
And we actually lost a few, unfortunately. And understandably so, COVID, everybody was being cautious with their family members. So I am, along with the director and a few other people, are trying to build our clientele up. We just recently visited another ARC in Region 6, and they are gonna mentor us on how to build us up to where they are. I don't think we'll ever be where they are, but again, we're headed in the right direction. But again, a lot of people didn't even know who we were. They didn't even, when I say, hey, I work at Natchitoches ARC, they're like, what is that? Where is that? So yeah, but I feel like we're gonna get back there with things getting better.
I see that Mrs. Stacy, do I need him to come to the mic, or you want me to repeat the question? How you think we ought to do it?
No, come to the
Come to the mic. Go ahead, Ms. Staley, come on to the mic.
While he's coming to the mic, if you have to leave, just leave your address with Miss Helen Obiaha, and I'll get it to you.
Yeah, that's what we want. Just for the record, we want you to say it over the microphone, okay?
Well, my name is Randy Stelly, and I would like to ask you, have y'all considered about a name change?
Absolutely.
Because let me, the reason why I'm asking you this is because if you had a name like the Association for Citizens with Disabilities, it certainly would be a lot easier
to, and more palatable to people than the name that you have that uses the term retarded. And that's the question I wanted to ask if you ever thought about a name change.
Yes, sir. And to answer his question, we were the Natchitoches Association for Retarded Citizens. Now we're Natchitoches ARC. And because of legalities and tax purposes, we've only been open since January, so we're under a new director. So since January, we have a new director. So we're moving in the direction to change the name. That's such a derogatory term.
Very.
And that's what people refer to our clients back in the day as, and we don't like that term, and we don't want to be connected to that name. So yes, absolutely, we are definitely moving in that direction. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks for the question. Any other public comments or questions? All right, thank you so much for being with us today,
Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Edney. We appreciate it, all right?
Thank you.
And look to come visit you all soon.
Yes, sir.
The next item on the agenda is a proclamation, number 24, Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 24 of 2022 is a proclamation declaring the week of April 11 through 15, 2022 as National Community Development Week in the city of Natchitoches. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has operated since 1974 to provide local governments with the resources required to primarily meet the needs of low and moderate income persons, and whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program is among the few remaining federal programs available to address the needs of low and moderate income persons in small cities, and whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has been provided the state of Louisiana with important and flexible assistance to meet the needs of low and moderate income residents of small cities by funding sewer, water, and street improvement projects, economic development projects, and other public improved projects. And whereas Congress and the nation acknowledge the critical value of the Community Development Block Grant Program and the significant projects that rely on its funds for support, and whereas the week of April 11 through 15, 2022 has been reserved for recognition and appreciation of the Community Development Block Grant Program. Now, therefore, I, Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor, and the Natchitoches City Council do proclaim April 11 through 15, 2022 as National Community Development Week in the city of Natchitoches. And I move to adopt resolution number 24 of 2022.
That's second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Randy, we were speaking earlier about some of the projects that were funded here in the city of Natchitoches through the CDBG. Would you kind of articulate some of those for us?
Mayor, it's good to understand that there are two aspects to the block grant program. Entitlement communities, which are larger, like Baton Rouge, Shreveport, get a lump sum of funds, and then usually the Metropolitan Planning Commission determines how to spend it. All other cities, our size and up to 50,000, compete competitively in different categories. Sewer and water is a primary category. For a few years, they funded what they call roads or streets projects, but the largest sum was $750,000 for typical sewer and water projects, and that's what we concentrated over the years more than anything. A lot of the sewer lift stations, and Matt probably could even elaborate more on some of those. Even the current project to put the water line to Powhatan is under that aspect of it. But we've been very successful, and all except, I think, 2 cycles in the 24 years I've been here, we've gotten a grant through the Community Development Block Grant Program. One year when they were funding roads and it was ranked high enough was the year we got $400,000. We did Fairgrounds Road, which needed it really bad. And then other than that, there was a second year that they allowed 2 applications. The only year they've done it, we applied for and funded about a dozen low-mod families to do handicap upgrades at their homes, bathroom access of different sort, ramps at the front. And so generally, it's been a very successful program for the city. You figure 700,000 over it's 2-year cycle, so we probably pulled in more like $6-7 million, maybe $8 million out of it over the time I've been here.
Thanks for the explanation. Any questions or comments based on the information Randy provided? Yes, sir. Would you come to the mic, please? State your first and last name.
Carl Sias. Randy, when is this money going to be available? And let me ask this block program, will this money be distributed in some of the neighborhood? I understand that it's a grant, and also the city getting more with doing different areas. I think when you talked about it, I think Lee Posen them was at the mayor seat when they did Fairground Road, right?
Yes, sir.
And a couple more projects that you all did, but the thing of it is, that was fine, because down on Fairground Road at the particular time really needed and everything else. So the money that you all are getting this year, what is your project for as spending it, and which area besides? Because I see you said about the lift station and everything else, and I think one other time last week or whatever, on the 28th, they talked about, they're getting these 2 electrical deals for the communities and when everything's shut down. So is this money going to be for streets drains, or is it going to be for the lift station, or people repairing their houses, or doing something, handicap ramps and stuff like that?
The next funds the city gets are very project-specific. Your application defines a particular project. It's not as though you say, I need $500,000 and we want to do X. You pick your project in advance based on whatever the administration's priorities are, and you apply for that. If you're approved, that's where the money's going to be spent. And Matt, feel free to add to it as to what I think the next up funded project is, the Powhatan water line, is it not, Matt?
Yeah, it's the Powhatan water line, and it's also the water well for a supplement supply for the city of Natchitoches that will generate about 300,000 gallons a day. And then we're doing some water line enhancement and changing out in Water District 1.
So, Ms. Sias, that's specifically where the funds will go in the current cycle.
So they'll go on the outskirts of the city at this particular time?
Well, the water well will,
Supply
it'll be for all the citizens on the water system. Yes, it'll benefit everyone on the water system.
I know you've been working for the city for a long time. In the last 10 years, can you give me a quote of how much money was spent on the water cycle of the city?
I can, but not off the top of my head. I've been in the utility department for 25 years, but I've only been director for a year and a half. So, yeah, I mean, I could find those numbers for you, but not off the top of my head.
All right, good enough.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and seconded. Roll call vote, Ms. Stacy.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is a proclamation as well. This is number 29, and that's Councilman PT reading.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 29 of 2022, proclamation declaring Friday, April 22nd, 2022, as Earth Day in the city of Natchitoches. Whereas Earth Day 2022 is focused on accelerating solutions to combat our greatest threat, climate change, and to activate everyone, government, citizens, and businesses to do their part, everyone accounted for and everyone accountable. Whereas all people, regardless of race, gender, income, have a moral right to healthy, sustainable environment with economic growth. And whereas enhancing and improving our green economy will require cooperation across all sectors of society. We are all caretakers of our planet and have an obligation to combat climate change and environmental degradation to preserve Earth's beauty as well as its resources. Whereas a green economy can be achieved on the individual level through educational efforts, public policy, and consumer activism campaigns. Whereas this obligation extends not only to today's caretakers, but to also future generations who will inherit our planet. April 22nd, 2022 marks the 52nd anniversary of Earth Day, and the City of Natchitoches is committed to building on the successes we have achieved so far, and look to support this issue of environmental protection through local activism and raising local awareness. Furthermore, let it be known that the City of Natchitoches, Louisiana, hereby encourages its residents, businesses, and institutions to use Earth Day to celebrate the Earth and commit to building a sustainable and green economy. Furthermore, let's keep our city clean and join others in Love the Boot Week and help organize or participate in litter cleanup and beautification efforts in our community during Love the Boot Week, April 18th through the 24th of 2022. Our state's week-long Earth Day initiative supported by the governor and lieutenant governor. Furthermore, join us as we commemorate the 52nd anniversary of Earth Day. A more sustainable world starts with all of us. I so move that resolution number 29 be adopted.
Second.
All right, thank you. Motion made and seconded. Really want to highlight the fact of, as Councilman P.T. read, that there is an initiative pushed by the governor. He's kind of placed or appointed the lieutenant governor over this initiative, Love the Boot Week, which is start next Monday, all the way through Saturday of next week. And just encouraging organizations, citizens to participate in the cleanup. And we've been basically advertising. I think you go to www.lovetheboot.org and just basically to register a cleanup that you're going to be doing throughout the city. I think Randy even has some contact information, Alicia Christoph in his office about who do you contact about, on the local level, so forth and so on. So we are encouraging people to certainly, let that be a start to cleaning up, keeping our city beautiful. Certainly education about litter. We just, again, want to be able to keep the city clean, and we're encouraging that. We're jumping on this initiative with the governor and lieutenant governor for Love the Boot Week. You'll see an announcement later on as well. We've been on social media. We're going to continue to just kind of put it out there, but we want to kind of come together as a city and, with an effort to keep the city clean. And that's just 1 week, but hopefully it would spur a lifestyle, a commitment, ongoing commitment to keeping our city clean. So that's what we really want to focus on. I want to join that effort as well. Any comments or questions about this particular proclamation? All right, public comments? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
P.T.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Again, we'll bring that back up just a little bit later on. Next item on the agenda are ordinances, and these are up for final. First one is ordinance number 22. Councilwoman at Large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 022 of 2022. An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches to award the bid for the purchase of one 750 kVA pad mount transformer. This is bid number 0645, whereas resolution number 015 of 2022 was passed by the Natchitoches City Council on February the 14th, 2022, authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for one 750 kVA phase pad mount transformer. And whereas this bid was advertised in the Natchitoches Times on February the 17th, February 24th, and March the 3rd, 2022, in accordance with law. And whereas 3 bid proposals were received and opened, whereas on March 21st, 2022, the appointed committee of Sonia McClellan, Ed Lee, Matt Anderson, and Eddie Harrington, councilman, reviewed the bid proposals for one 750 kVA phase pad mount transformer, 0645. Whereas the above appointed committee members unanimously recommended the city award the bid to the lowest bidder, being Westco Distribution of Lafayette, Louisiana, in the amount of $32,568. This ordinance was introduced on March 28, 2022, and published in the Natchitoches Times on March 31st, 2022. And may I move for adoption of ordinance number 022 of 2022.
Second.
All right, Matt, will you give us a little explanation to this?
Yeah, this is a transformer that, you see transformers on the pole. This is one that sits on the ground. You see them in neighborhoods, they're green. This is a quite large one. We're taking one out of stock and using it for the Tesla charging station that will be built out at Highway 6 and I-49. So we're just buying one to replace our stock. We'd like to keep one in stock in case one we have in service goes out. We don't have, there's no downtime for the customer.
Yeah, great, awesome, yeah. Means we can get them back powered real quick.
That's right. Yeah,
All
we
right.
got it. We're seeing long lead times on transformers as well as other things. So as soon as we figured out we needed to take one out of stock, we haven't taken it out of stock yet, but we want to get this one coming.
And look, the low bid is a drastic difference, 20,000 difference, 31,000 difference, but same quality, right?
Yes, they have specs that Ed sends them, and they have to pass those specifications.
Okay, awesome. Well, great, and I appreciate those who served on that committee. Any, council, you got any questions, comments? Any public comments about this? All right, seeing none, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item of the final is ordinance number 25, Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 25 of 2022, an ordinance to designate funds from the American Rescue Plan to the workers within the city of Natchitoches employed in critical infrastructure sectors and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. And this is for final.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read it in title only. And I move that we adopt ordinance number 25 of 2022.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded to adopt this particular piece. We just, only thing we added was the date, cutoff date. Finance thought that we needed to have that. But any questions or comments, council? Any public comments about this particular ordinance? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, motion carries as well. Next, we've got a few pieces of legislation that are on for introduction. First one is ordinance number 26, and that's Councilman Harrington.
This is ordinance number 26 of 2022, an ordinance adopting the budget for the city of Natchitoches for the fiscal year of June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2023. This is for introduction only.
Right, and so council, each of you has the binder. Want you to peruse and go through it. We've got 45 days, I believe. Clarissa, is there anything you need to say about this?
No, I mean, it'll stand until the next meeting, and then we'll look at approving it. We are in time for whatever regulations that we have with the legislative auditor, so if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll work with our director heads as well on finalizing everything. But
Yeah, and like we had last year, citizens budget, I don't think I've sent it to you just yet, Clarissa, but I'll get her that pamphlet. I've got it to Shauna, and we're looking to do that again, to do another citizens budget hearing. So I think that was well received, and we want to do it one more time, okay? All right, so again, this is introduction. I don't know if there are any questions at this point. Again, council, you've got your budget binders to go through over this period before it comes up for a vote in May. Okay, all right. Well, we're going to move on to the next piece. That's for introduction. And who's reading this one, Stacy? I know Eli's not here.
Whoever wants to take over.
Oh,
I'll read it.
okay, Councilman PT, this is ordinance number 27. Thank you, sir.
Ordinance number 27, ordinance upon the recommendations of the Finance Department that the city of Natchitoches enter into an agricultural lease of a 96.82 acre tract at which 69.11 acres is formable, more or less, with Russell and Mary Edith Stacy Farms, and authorizing the mayor, Ronnie Williams Jr., to execute said lease on behalf of the city of Natchitoches and providing for advertising. This is for introduction.
Okay. Questions, comments, council? Any public comments about this particular
I just have a
piece?
question. Mine's highlighted in yellow. Is everyone else, is that particular, is this to be red or something? Or not? I don't know.
Just the
Okay.
I
Nothing.
guess because I know it has the dollar amounts in that second line there.
We can read it.
Yeah, would you read that, please?
You see that, Councilman PT? Which line?
It's
are those?
highlighted.
I don't know if it's highlighted on his, though.
Let me try to
No,
get.
Whereas-
Fifth paragraph, whereas has recommended, probably the fifth paragraph, I'm thinking. 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph.
I read from,
It's the Stacy deal.
okay.
Yeah, that is. So she's requesting.
Okay. Whereas further, the purchasing department has recommended to the city council of the city of Natchitoches that the city lease the subject tract to Russell and Mary Edith Stacy Farms for a 3-year term beginning May 9th of 2022 until December 31st of 2025. Whereas further, the terms of the lease are for a 3-year period with consideration for $4,492. Year and correction. Whereas further, a lease has been prepared setting forth the term, conditions, and consideration for the proposed agricultural lease, a copy of which said lease is attached.
Okay. All right, thank you, Councilman PT, and that basically had the details, who was going to be leased to, the financial terms, so that's why that particular portion was highlighted. Okay? All right, based on that, any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, again, this is introduction, be voted on our next meeting on the 25th. All right, next item on the agenda is also for introduction, it's ordinance number 28, that's Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 028 of 2022 is an ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 40 of 2022, approving the terms and form of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Natchitoches and the Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee, and authorizing the mayor to execute the cooperative endeavor agreement known as CEA between the City of Natchitoches and the Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee, which will provide for a facade grant program for Texas Street and Washington Street corridors. Whereas the City of Natchitoches is a municipality located in the state of Louisiana, governed under a Home Rule Charter and a Code of Ordinances adopted by Ordinance Number 5 of 1977. And whereas the City Council previously had authorized the city to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Natchitoches Community Alliance Foundation, Inc., DBA Economic Development Alliance, sometimes hereinafter NEDA. Whereas Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee is a Louisiana nonprofit corporation organized under the laws of the state of Louisiana and provides services which benefit citizens of the city of Natchitoches, Louisiana. And whereas further, the CFEEC has undertaken to commence the business revitalization and facade improvement program, which seeks to provide facade grants to the owners of buildings in specific distressed commercial areas of the city of Natchitoches. And whereas the program seeks to remove blight by assisting businesses and commercial property owners to improve building appearance and to bring signs, parking, landscaping, and building construction into conformance with current codes. And whereas the program will also assist with economic development in the targeted areas of the city. Whereas the City Council of the City of Natchitoches wishes to amend and restate. Whereas the City Council of the City of Natchitoches has reviewed the attached corporate endeavor agreement, which is similar to the prior agreement in all substantive points, and provides for the initial funding of the program, and has reviewed the proposed program and approves both the CEA and the program. And whereas the City Council wishes to amend and restate Ordinance 40 of 2021 in its entirety as set forth herein. Be it further ordained that the City Council of the City of Natchitoches in due legal and regular session convened that the attached cooperative agreement between the City of Natchitoches and the Economic Enhancement Committee is approved. Be it further ordained that if any provisions or item of this ordinance or application thereof is held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions, items, or applications of this ordinance. Be it further ordained that all ordinances or resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herein are hereby repealed. This ordinance was introduced on April 11th. This is for introduction only, Mayor.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Councilwoman at Large. And as the literature says, or I guess the ordinance, I should say, says, there was a piece introduced last year, but it was a CEA between the city and NEDA, the Natchitoches Economic Development Alliance, or I think it was still called the Natchitoches Community Alliance at that particular time. And however, there was a transition in leadership. Mr. Mike Ferdinand left, and the interim director suggested that instead of doing it that way, to basically give us an Alexandria model. And that's what we developed, this, what we're calling the Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee, basically to be the entity to run, to oversee this facade program. Like I said, we're starting on Washington and Texas streets, but the idea is to take it into different business corridors to improve the facade. And again, let me just say this, facade grants are not really new to Natchitoches in that the historic district for some time, and I think bringing them back as well, has had such grants in the past. So just want to improve these particular business areas. But again, the plan, so long as the funding is there, is to take this to other business corridors as well, because there are some other areas that, you know, can use some of that attention as well. So again, this was basically redirecting the money to this particular organization, Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee, and earlier it was to the Natchitoches Community Alliance. Comments or questions, council, about this? All right, any public comments about this? Again, it's just introduction today, so it'll be on the agenda again in just a couple weeks. So if you don't have any now, Maybe there'll be some later on. And so grateful for the committee of, I think, 7, is it 7 people, Mr. Wade? A committee of 7 people who are devoting their time to this effort, and so grateful for them. Mr. Wade serves as president of the Community Facade and Economic Enhancement Committee. All right? So thank all of you for your time.
Would Mr. Wade like to say something?
If you do, Mr. Wade,
Go to the
please
mic.
come to the microphone, tell us your first and last name.
For those of you all that don't know me, my name is Elton R. Wade Sr. As a junior rolling around, so I always put the senior there. I am very proud to have been selected to serve in this capacity. I moved to Natchitoches about 46 years ago, and I made it home. And I've always wanted to see something that I'm part of in growth, especially if there's a seed in the ground. The mayor, like he said several months ago, planted a seed in the ground. We were called to and selected to help make that grow. We had a meeting this afternoon with some of the business leaders on Texas Street. We had a very good turnout, about 10 or 12, and they had some very interesting questions concerning the facade grant program, and we were able to answer those thanks to the city lawyer and the city attorneys that helped us to reform and to revisit the application to make it fit the city of Natchitoches. And so now, also with the help of some of the committee members, Ms. O.B.O. High, and also Ms. Shante. And there are some other ones that are here that help us to make these decisions concerning this application process. We had a meeting, like I said, this afternoon. I left information for them to contact us, and I already have a meeting set up for 9 o'clock in the morning to go over the application with some of the business leaders that want to enhance their places, that want to make it look better. And like the mayor was saying, it's part of a facade program, and it's very good for the growth of this city. It's a seed that's been planted, and we want to we're hoping to make it grow larger and to be in the city, you know, forever and a day. There has some stipulations to it. If you have there's an $8,000 limit to the top part of the grant. If you have a project that's in between $1 and $8,000, the city business owners are going to be responsible for 25% of that. When you look at that, you think of it as a down payment on a car, and then the city will pay the 75% other. We won't pay it to the homeowner, to the business owner. It go directly to the contractor, and all of this is going to be scrutinized by the committee to make sure that we'll also be working with the planning and zoning committee for permits so that this work can be done. We have inspectors that's going to be in place to make sure that when the first nail go in, the last nail go in, it'll be for that project and project only. It's a very fruitful position, and I told the mayor that we're going to make this work. It's in its early stages, so we can call this our baby, but we're going to feed it the milk that it needs. And we got some good people on the committee that wants to volunteer that time, such as myself, and we're going to make sure that this thing works real well. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to entertain them.
Thank you.
I know it's probably step 2. The first one, that's exciting that you got that much participation out of the business owners. It did mention blight in the comment. Is there a plan for any of the properties to be taken down, or is the thought kind of, let's see who comes up and redoes facades and then go after blight? Step 2?
Yeah. This facade program is going to be the rehabilitation process in the front and the side that you can see from the street. So in the process of taking down a whole building, no, that won't be with this set of monies here. This will be strictly for awnings, painting, landscaping. If you want to put a sign up and it's within your boundaries of your finances, then we will help with that. So it's more or less like a rehabilitation program instead of a demolition and then rebuild.
Right.
Yes. That may come later on, but not right now.
Did that answer your question? For
Yes.
blighted properties?
Yeah, good. Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, sir. Great explanation. All right, again, that's just introduction. Let's move on to some resolutions, and the first one is Councilman PT, Resolution Number 25.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 25 of 2022, a resolution to reappoint Gary W. as a member of the Board of Directors of the Industrial Development Board of the City of Natchitoches, Louisiana. Whereas the City of Natchitoches, in its endeavors to promote and attract industry, organized the Industrial Development Board of the City of Natchitoches, Louisiana. Whereas further, the City Council of the City of Natchitoches affirmed the appointment of the members of the Board of Directors of the IDB by Resolution Number 16 of 2012, and fixed the terms of the directors of the IDB by Resolution Number 63 of 2104. Whereas further, the term of one of the directors of the IDB, namely Gary W., is set to expire on April 23rd, 2022, and the City Council of the City of Natchitoches desires to reappoint Gary W. to the Board of Directors. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Natchitoches that the term of Gary W. shall be extended for additional 6-year term beginning April 23rd of 2022 and expiring April 23rd of 2028. And I so move to adopt Resolution Number 25 of 2022.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Gary W. has been on. Ms. Stacy, how long on IDB, do you know?
Oh, I think this is his third term.
Third term.
Yeah.
So he conveyed to us that, he was willing to serve a little bit more, so, maybe not a full term, but just took advantage of it, so grateful for his service on this particular board. So I don't know if you got any questions or comments, Council?
It's 18 years, it's a 6-year term. is
Yeah,
that-
that's right.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 18
Done
years
well,
already.
okay. Yeah.
Yep. Any public comments? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 26, and let's go, Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 26 of 2022, resolution to reappoint Glenn Moffitt as a member of the Board of Directors of the Industrial Development Board of the City of Natchitoches. Whereas the City of Natchitoches, in its endeavor to promote and attract industry, organized Industrial Development Board of the City of Natchitoches, Louisiana, and whereas further, City Council of the City of Natchitoches affirmed the appointment of the members of the Board of Directors of IDB in Resolution Number 16 of 2012 and fixed the terms of the directors of the IDB Number 63, like that's 2104.
Yeah.
And whereas further, the term of one of the directors of the IDB, namely Glenn Moffitt, is set to expire April 23, 2022, and the City Council of the City of Natchitoches desires to reappoint Glenn Moffitt to the Board of Directors of the IDB, and I move that we adopt Resolution Number 26 of 2022.
I second. Okay.
All right.
With the correction that the resolution number 63 be amended to 2004.
Okay. All right, thanks. We're good, that's just for the record?
yes.
We just say that for the record, okay. Thank you, Councilwoman at-large Smith. Motion's been made and seconded. Dr. Moffitt, I think, was confirmed last year, so he was, he took over the term of,
McCullen,
no, not McCullen, that's Kamal. I forgot.
Mike Wolf.
Anyway, I forgot who it is. So this will be Moffitt's full term, you know him with Moffitt Industries, yeah, Texas Street Business. They've been in the community for a long time.
Ed Rangy.
Ed Rangy.
Rangy.
There you
Okay,
go.
thank you, Stacy, for that. So this will be his full term on the IDB. Questions or comments? Council? Any public questions or comments? Yes, sir, you come to the microphone.
Carl Size. The question that I want to ask,
Got to move around, I think.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
the question that I want to ask, and I hear y'all was talking about Mr. Dudley and Mr. Moffett. This is his first term on this board.
Yeah, Dr. Moffett, first full. So I think he finished about a year of, is it Drangy's?
It was an unexpired term for Mr. Ed Drangy, so he completed that.
So well, what is this? I mean, I understand, you know, I don't too much really get it. What is this board is actually, is consist of? What, I mean, industrial, somebody explain to me what have been accomplished from the previous years and from the years are coming with these people is on this particular board. Are they going out, research for development to come to this city? Or it just a bunch of people that's on the board that's not doing anything?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Randy, I think you could speak to some projects that have gone through the IDB.
Mayor, IDB's industrial boards are used across all the states, I think, certainly all across Louisiana, as a vehicle because the city itself, and Alex Washington is more apt to answer this, but they have limitations what they can and can't do. When you get into a position that you're trying to put together an economic development package, and the city's not in a position to do that by law, the industrial boards are used as the vehicle. So it's a quasi-governmental entity under the city. Is that generally correct,
That's
Alex?
correct.
And to give you an idea, Pillar's Pride Feed Mill, one portion of it went through the industrial board because that was the only way we could put it together. The Chateau Saint Denis Hotel downtown, one portion of that was handled that way. So I'm not sure I can think of every time in my 24 years that we've used it, but it's been used a number of times to finalize and put together the packages on economic development deals.
And it is used throughout the state.
So it's used throughout the city. Let me ask you a question. What is the revenue or growth in that? Do the city get any type of revenue off of this? The building, like the hotel and stuff like that, the meal? Well, surely y'all get the tax breaks off the meals and stuff like that. But the hotel here, what is the economic growth off of that in a term of a year? What does the hotel actually generate?
Well, I don't know the numbers, but I mean, by building a hotel, obviously you bring jobs, you increase the fees at the hotel that we collect, the occupancy fees. So it's a benefit for the city to move forward with, issuing debt under the Industrial Development Board. So we got, different companies that want to come to town. In order for them to come, they got to go through some infrastructure and build the process out. But by going through the Industrial Development Board, we can abate their taxes. And by abating their taxes, we're allowed to pay for that infrastructure cost. So if they don't absorb that cost initially, that attracts companies to come to town.
And I'll say this, Mr. Sayers, just like Matt said earlier on his particular question that you asked, those numbers can be provided. If you just give me your email after the meeting, we could send those over to you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just trying to find out. I mean, because, I was just wondering, when you talked about the development and all this other stuff here, I was trying to make sure that I was in compliance with what y'all was talking about, because I've heard always saying that the hotel over here is ran by the city, so they don't pay any taxes or anything off there. So I don't know how true that is or not. So that's why I was just bringing that to the forefront of what did the city, that hotel generate from people coming here, doing things at the hotel and everything else. And somebody ought to have, y'all know the whole layout of it, but what is the finance, what the city is actually making off of this particular building, like the hotel, the rental center down here. I mean, whatever y'all call that place right downtown here. You know, that's development itself. So the numbers of the money that is being made off of these and generate off of people coming into town and having different occasion parties or whatever. So that's what I was trying to find out.
Yeah, but again, I could provide those numbers to you. It's as early as tomorrow.
All right then, all
Yep.
right.
Okie dokie, all right. Any other comments or questions?
And I want to clarify, I think, because people ask me this from time to time whenever we're voting on a new member of one of these boards. They don't get paid anything. All these members of these boards, it's all volunteer work too. I just want to clarify that because I get asked that every time we vote on one, it seems like.
Okay, thanks for that comment. All right, anything else? Roll call vote, Ms. Stacy.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Peachy,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item is resolution number 27, Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 27 of 2022 is a resolution approving the execution of the contract by and between the State of Louisiana, Division of Administration, Office of Community Development, and the City of Natchitoches for the FY 2020 to 2021 Local Government Assistance Program, LGAP, for the amount of $9,702 to purchase fire hoses for the Natchitoches Fire Department. And this was, I think, introduced last time, but last meeting, but I'll read it anyway. Whereas the State of Louisiana Office of Community Development through the Louisiana Local Government Assistance Program, referred to as LGAP, provides funding for needed infrastructure and long-term capital improvements. And whereas eligible activities are funded through the LGAP program include fire protection and renovations to essential government buildings. And whereas Governor John Bell Edwards approved the FY 2020 through 2021 Louisiana Local Assistance Program application made by the City of Natchitoches in the amount of $9,702 to purchase fire hoses for the Natchitoches Fire Department. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Honorable Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor, is hereby authorized, empowered, and directed to sign any and all documents necessary for the execution of this contract. And I move for adoption of resolution number 27 of 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Let's hear from Chief Wynn on this particular piece.
Every year, you know, we go through we do hose testing, and some of our hoses fail, and it's time that we replace some of the hose. We asked for about $17,000, and we were awarded $9,700 out of it. So it helps us. We rely on LGAP to help us out a lot, so it's much needed funding.
Okay. Comments or questions, council? Public comments? All right, seeing none, roll call vote. Oh, sorry. Will you come to the microphone, please, sir? State your first, last name.
James Wilson, Natchitoches Times. My question is, so if $17,000 was asked for, does that mean that the city will be deficient of any hoses during an emergency?
No, we've got funding set aside to cover the cost of anything else that we're short. So our hose that we asked for is going to be purchased.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question, sir. Any other questions, comments? All right, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Peachy,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item is resolution number 28. That's Councilman Harrington.
Resolution number 28 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for wastewater collection system rehabilitation, Grand Decor and Mill Street Lift Station, bid number 0646. And whereas sealed proposals shall be addressed to the City of Natchitoches, Office of the Director of Purchasing, 1400 Sabine Street, Natchitoches, Louisiana 71457. and the City of Natchitoches will accept sealed and electronic bids for the project until 2 p.m. on Thursday, May 12th, 2022. And bids will be publicly opened and read aloud at 2 p.m. on Thursday, May 12th, 2022. And I move to adopt resolution number 28 of 2022.
Second.
Okay. Matt, we got a motion second. Matt, just kind of explain this for us while we're seeing this today.
This is some funding we're applying for. Well, these bids are going to go out for the Grand Decor lift station and the Mill Street lift station rehab. These lift stations were built in the early to mid 80s, and they're a little bit undersized. So when we do this project, we're going to put in larger pumps, new pump controls, and the Mill Street lift station will get a wet well rehab lining in the well, and this is partially paid for by a DEQ grant that has a loan forgiveness. So the project total, the designer's total is about $935,000 for the two projects, and we'll get about $312,000, I think, of loan forgiveness. So a third of it will be some free money, and then the other 2/3 will be a loan at 0.95%. So very, very low interest loan.
I think we remember seeing that a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Couple weeks back, all right. Any comments or questions, council? Any public comments? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Peachy.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item is resolution number 30, and that's Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 30 of 2022, a resolution of the City of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, providing for interpretation of a lease agreement by and between the City of Natchitoches and Cane River Partners, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Whereas the City of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, has previously entered into a lease agreement with CRB Partners, LLC, and whereas the lease specifically authorizes CRB to sublease the subject property to one specific party, but does not expressly forbid CRB from subleasing to any other third party. And whereas the City Council of the City of Natchitoches, acting as the governing authority, desires to express its approval of CRB subleasing to Flying Heart Brewing for LLC Flying Heart, and subject to the original lease, zoning, historical district, and legal requirements to operate. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Natchitoches in due, regular, and legal session convened that CRB Partners, LLC is authorized to enter into a lease agreement with Flying Heart Brewing for LLC, substantially in accordance with the terms and conditions of the draft thereof attached hereto as Exhibit A. Be it further resolved that if any provisions or items of this resolution or the application thereof is held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions, items, applications of this resolution which can be given effect without the invalid provisions, items, or applications, and to this end, the provisions of this resolution are hereby declared to be severable. Be it further resolved that all resolution or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. And I move that we adopt resolution number 30 of 2022.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Alex, are there some comments?
Well, I think the resolution is kind of clear. The city did enter into a lease back in 2016 with CRB and allowed for an assignment to Cane River Brewing, but they want to enter into a lease with another company. And the lease wasn't clear that it prohibited or allowed it. I just wanted to bring it to the council so the council is clear that we're allowing an assignment to a different company. And Exhibit A was an 82-page lease agreement between CRB and the company, so I didn't attach that. It's a pretty thick lease.
Comments, questions, council?
I'd just be knowing that due to conflict of interest, I can't discuss or vote on the matter.
I understand. I will say, I know for some it may be a little bit bittersweet, I guess. Depends on, your feelings, but what I've heard, I've never gone to Flying Heart, but what I've heard about them is that it's really going to be a good business here in the city of Natchitoches. And I'm excited. I'm excited what it means, not only for the residents in general, but for the Mill District itself. I think it's really going to be that spark that we've been trying to find. You've got something, Randy? Go ahead.
Mayor, I'd just like to point out that in the early stages, I didn't fully understand that being licensed as a manufacturer, they were not necessarily paying sales tax on a good bit of the volume, depending on how it came through. Flying Heart will actually be paying sales tax on gross sales because it'll be combined restaurant, and it's going to bring in considerable funds to the city general fund.
All right. Any public comments about this?
What is the,
Oh, no, you can go.
what is the hours of operation? Does anyone know? Hours of operation?
Hours of operation.
They're open
Hours.
hours.
I don't know if they've made that known to us
They're
yet.
supposed to be open by May 31st based on the early negotiations. Jeff Thomas is one of the principals. He happens to be in the audience. Jeff, you want to make any comment about Flying Heart, if you would? Please.
Yes, sir. And Jeff, I think you heard it, but the councilwoman, the large question was the hours of operation, if there's any information about that yet.
The gentleman from Flying Heart were at my office late this afternoon. They're making progress. In order to get, when they get their building plans done, they have to have that to submit to the Louisiana ATC. They said they would be able to do that in the next couple of weeks, and then they're going to walk their permit process through and can get that issued in a day. They told me they're a few days away from getting approval from the federal government, the TTB. So I think that the end of May is a realistic date for them being able to open up.
Not, when I mean operation, what hours will they be open until?
What was that now?
From what time will business start and what time will it end? Open and what time will it
They'll
stop?
be open for lunch and dinner. It's not, to my knowledge, they don't stay open all night. It's primarily a restaurant, but it's not a late night deal.
According to Shreveport Bossier, they have 11 to 9 as their operating hours. I'm sure they'll probably do something similar here.
Yeah. 11 to 9, so.
So they'll be open for lunch, you say?
What was
Right?
that?
You say lunch, they will be open for lunch?
And they've told me that they're open every day of the year. And I ask them how they staff doing that, and they say people volunteer to work the holidays. So, and I can tell you, I know what the Shreveport operation is. They have about 65 employees in Shreveport.
Really?
Yeah, and they have, I saw their W-3s, which is what you report to the federal government to show total wages paid, and that was up over $1.5 million for 2021. So they're significant employers.
That's great.
And the sales taxes, like Randy mentioned, are significant, because what happens in distribution, the only taxes that get paid is what's sold through the tap room. When a distributor picks up that beer and they take it to Whole Foods or Brooks's in Shreveport, then they collect the tax up there. So all the sales for Flying Heart will come through that building into the city of Natchitoches. Food, and any, alcohol sales.
We'll miss Cane River Brewing, no doubt, but glad to have Flying Heart. If I could pick one, that's a
Flying
good
Heart
pick.
will be the operating entity going forward.
Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Could you tell us, I'm sorry, for the record, would you state your first and last name? I don't think you did that. Did you do that first?
What's that name?
Would you state your first and last name, just for the record?
Tell us your first and last name.
Mine?
Yes.
Yeah, Jeffrey, last name Thomas.
Okay, thank you, sir. And that's just for the record. The menu, could you kind of let us know, those who have never gone, some of the things that are on the menu, if you know?
Okay.
Pizza. Their pizza's really good.
The menu.
Jeff has
You can go Google Flying Heart.
Mm-hmm.
The menu is the same in all the restaurants. It's, I call it homemade, but they make their own dough. They're big into pizzas. They've been voted #1 pizza in Caddo, Bossier for the last several years by Shreveport Magazine. They have salads, wraps, chicken wings. They don't cook hamburgers and they don't cook French fries. Everything they do is oven-fired
Okay.
stuff. So it'll be kind of a new concept for Natchitoches.
Okay. Well, look, thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
So much, man. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
We're excited. Okay. Council, any other questions or comments? Seeing none? I think we got a motion. We got a motion. Yes, sir, you got a question?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Carl Sides. The question that I want to ask, when they opened up the new business down there, even though that it was a brewery, it was making alcohol, and I think most of the city employee who took the ethics violation quiz test, or whatever you want to call it, where there's alcohol on a work premise. So are the city planning on moving the employees from down there off of Mill Street?
Yeah, I don't know the specific instance you're speaking of, but that is a part of, the hope is to redevelop the entire Mill District.
Yeah.
Each of those buildings to, become restaurants or whatever the case may be. So we're currently going through the process now of garnering some interest for the entire Mill District. So that's the hope, to have Public Works on another site.
Yeah, but what I was saying is the test that the city employees take from every year. I think some of them just took it, the workers and everything else. Somebody ought to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sexual harassment ethics, we do that every year.
Sexual harassment, ethics board violation, and everything else. So what I'm saying is, y'all gonna move the employees, because when they opened it up at first down there, it was a liquor joint, a brewery, and everything else, and you still had workers coming on the premises at the particular time that they was doing business.
You mean city workers?
Yeah, it
right?
shouldn't be, because the hours are not the same.
I'm talking about the city workers. Those people was open like in the morning time when the city come open. Now they was making beer and everything else. That's what I'm saying is, y'all gonna change the hours to make sure that there's no city employees there, or y'all gonna leave it just like it is, or y'all gonna move the city workers somewhere else?
Well, and I was saying with Cane River Brewery, the hours didn't really overlap with this one. Their proposed time in Shreveport, there will be some overlap, but as I just stated, the hope is to move Public Works and to redevelop the entire Mill District. So, yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah, okay, that's all I was asking. You got my name right?
All right.
S-I-A-S.
Okay, any other public comments or statements? Okay. All right, seeing none, Ms. Stacy, roll call vote.
Nelson,
I'm sorry.
Roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Abstain.
PT,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next, there is a motion to amend the agenda to add resolutions number 31 and 32 of 2022. And basically, this is dealing with the River South Commons District. And we wanted to make sure that we got it up for a vote on this particular agenda. So, any questions, council?
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, we do need a motion.
Do we want to do them separately, Alex?
I think we should.
Yes.
Okay. I move that we add resolution number 31 of 2022 to the agenda.
Second.
All right, motion was made and second to add resolution number 31. There were no questions when I just asked, so I don't know if there are any now. Okay. Public questions, comments? Okay, roll call vote.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Resolution 31 has been added, so I guess we'll go ahead and address number 31 now, at this time. Mr. Busada?
This is the first resolution today, and this basically is a resolution of the City Council acting in their capacity as the governing authority for the Economic Development District. And so this vote that you're taking is in that capacity as the governing authority for that district. And basically what this resolution does, it asks anybody to come and provide any kind of feedback that they want to make in terms of levying this additional 1% sales tax. After that public hearing is done, then you'll close out that portion of the meeting, and then this resolution will be adopted, giving you the authority to go ahead and publish notification that a public hearing was held. So this just memorializes the fact that there was a public hearing held on the resolution that will be coming next.
Okay.
So
All right.
do we need to officially open up the public meeting?
Yes.
Beginning.
So what do I need to say? The public,
Public comment?
well, we need to adopt it first, or do we need?
I think we need to.
No,
you just.
yeah, at this point, we'll go ahead and.
Agenda now.
It's on the agenda, so
Open it up. For the,
my line is to say, the floor is now
Yes,
open
and
for
not-
comments for resolution number 31?
Yeah.
All right, so the floor is open now for anybody who wants to make comments. This is our public hearing for resolution number 31 of 2022. Any comments? Okay, council?
Now you got to close it.
close it.
Okay,
I make a motion, we close the hearing.
is that what we need to do?
Yeah, and
I have to have a second.
I just close it, say.
yeah, and just to clarify too, this resolution, the public hearing would actually be on Resolution 32, the next one.
Okay.
So this resolution is just basically memorializing the fact that there was a public hearing. And so what we'll need to do is go ahead and introduce, add Resolution 32 to the agenda, and then at that point, ask for a public hearing, and then once the
back
public
to
hearing's
this.
closed, you would adopt this Resolution 31, and then you go into 32.
That's pretty clear.
It's clear, it's as clear as mud, I'm sorry.
Welcome to law school.
We're in Louisiana.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And,
All right.
and in all honesty, Mayor, the city of Natchitoches does a phenomenal job of basically allowing the public to comment on every piece of legislation that comes through. Some cities don't grant the public that benefit. And so you actually already grant this benefit to the public. So this is something that is really just extra for some cities that basically say we're not going to allow the public to comment unless they're required to by law.
So I hear you saying that we need to amend the agenda again.
Yes.
To allow for resolution 32.
Yes.
And, we get approval on that, then we need to allow comments.
Correct.
For resolution number 32, is that right?
Correct. allow
Okay.
comments for resolution number 32. Once the comments are done, then you would take a vote on 31, which would basically say that you've had a public hearing.
Okay.
And then you would go into number 32 and debate that and take a vote on that.
Okay. All right, council, we'll hear a motion to to amend the agenda to add resolution 32 of 2022.
I so move.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Any comments from council or public? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. We've got resolution 32 on here. Now, I'm following you, Mike. The next step?
So now we'll open up for public hearing on resolution number 32. So if they want to go ahead and read resolution 32, pull that up on the screen and read that, and then open it up for public comment.
And that is Councilman Harrington
Yes.
reading resolution 32.
Resolution 32 of 2022, a resolution directing the levying and collection of an additional sales and use tax of 1% in the River South Commons Economic Development District, State of Louisiana, designating the full amount of such newly levied additional sales and use tax as the local sales and use tax in the district, from which the local sales and use tax increments will be determined and used to finance economic development projects in the district in accordance with and is authorized by Part I, 1I, or is that II? I'm not sure.
two.
Chapter 27, Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, designating the initial annual baseline collection rate and establishing a monthly baseline collection rate for the district, pledging and dedicating such tax increments to fund an economic development project, authorizing the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement, obligating the tax increments, and providing for other matters in connection with the foregoing. And I move to adopt 32 of 2022.
Second.
Okay. Comments or questions, council, about 32?
And then you need to, at this point, open it up for the public hearing.
Okay. Open 32 up.
Yes, open 32.
All right, at this time, and I need to hit this thing again.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
I'm just trying to make sure we do it right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So at this particular time, we are now open. This is the public hearing part for resolution 32. All right. Are there any comments or questions about resolution 32? All right. Seeing none. I think you also said somewhere we vote on 31, right?
Yes, so go ahead and formally close the public hearing.
Okay. We did that last time by motion, didn't we?
Yeah, no, you can go ahead and just
I
close it.
just close it.
And bang the
All right, the
gavel.
public hearing portion for resolution 32 is now closed.
Okay. And then you would go ahead and adopt 32.
Okay. That motion has
Mayor, I
already
move
been
for
made, I think, right?
adoption.
And
Yes.
seconded.
Yeah,
Made and seconded. We just,
Yes.
Roll call vote.
we just need a roll call
Yes.
vote. Roll call vote, Ms. Stacy.
Nelson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, resolution 32 passes. Now, I did hear you say we need to vote on
Yes.
31.
They were, should have gone the other way, so that's right. So they were on the agenda backwards, so that now we're doing them in the correct order this way. So 31 actually would have come second. So go ahead and do 31 now, which just says that we had a public hearing and that you found that there were no objections.
Okay. We had a public hearing and we found that there were no objections.
No, so, yeah, and to go ahead and ask, there needs to be a motion and a second.
Was a
It's
second?
31.
I think
We do not have a second.
I don't think, yeah.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 31.
Second.
All right. So now we'll take any comments from council? Any public comments? All right. What's my next thing? I need to close it?
Yeah, go ahead and take a vote.
Okay. All right. We do have a question here, sir. Will you come to the microphone, state your first and last name?
I'm at a disadvantage because I didn't go to law school, but this is written by lawyers. I can see. What is it? It looks like a sales tax. I'm just putting it in terms that regular people can understand. Is this, as I understand it, I'm going to show my ignorance, but is this a sales tax for an area? I'm Edwin Creighton, Natchitoches, 218 2nd Street. So I just want to understand what this is. It's not an objection, it's just that it's written by lawyers and you can tell. Not that that's necessarily bad, but it's confusing. I think what it means is there's going to be a sales tax for a retail area that's people are in a certain area are going to have to pay to do some development. What is it? Put it in plain language. Can you do that?
Mike Busada can.
Yes, sir. Basically, what this is going to do, last month we created an economic development district, and that just encompasses this one retail area, the River South Commons shopping center area. What this is going to do is the law allows you to add a 1% sales and use tax. That 1% sales and use tax will only be charged to customers that go to the stores in that district. That money will then be used to help pay for the cost of redeveloping that shopping center. Yes, sir.
If there's another question, I want you to do like you've done the last few times.
Y'all want me to say my name again? Carl Size. Let me ask you a question. You say that there's gonna be 1% sales tax if you go and shop at that particular store. Well, this ain't no different from when they put the sales tax back there on the bypass with the people out that way, and everybody got mad with Lee Post because talking about they put a 1% sales tax out there, and well, where is this place that you're talking about?
It's right, it's,
Where Sears used to be.
Oh,
I mean,
oh.
not Stage, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Stage and Steels and
Down
Trail
Highway
Bus.
Walmart.
So over there where they putting the big lot in the exercise program in the windmill place? Yeah.
Well, Big Lots, I know.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean, I look at it as saying that somebody is how y'all expect the people to go out and spend money at these place of business when something new come to town, y'all adding a sale tax if you go over there and shop. Now, if you go over yonder and you got Harbor Freight, and a lot of people gonna shop there, so they're paying a 1% sale tax on shopping at the particular store. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't know what to say because that ain't no different from when Lee Posey made the offer of having that out yonder at the ballpark, and everybody raised saying about, oh, well, he raising the tax out there and everything else. Well, somebody tell me what the difference is.
I think Mike could explain it, but let me add my little 2 cents. I think I would say, I would say, and Mike, maybe you could.
No, basically what this is, in 1952, this was something that started in California. And basically what the thought process is that people don't want to pay taxes, higher taxes, that just go into a certain pot and you can't really follow the money and figure out where it's going. And so this is a way to add a lot of accountability to taxing. It basically says that if you want to pay an additional tax in order to attract this company that would not have economically been able to come to a certain market, if you're willing to pay that tax, we will guarantee you that that money will stay in that district and will be used and reinvest in that district to build it. Right, and so it's a way for you so that you can drive by and you can see, is the money being used properly? It can't be moved somewhere else, it can't be hidden. I mean, it has to be used for that one specific thing, and then it goes away.
So, let me ask you a question. What part do you actually play?
I'm the attorney, so basically I work to draft the documents.
You're the attorney for who?
For the city.
For the city of Natchitoches. Okay, we got a lot of attorneys, so we don't know which one. So anyway, okay, I understand what you're saying. So what is it different from when Lee Posey was in office and the tax they set out there, then the tax they set over here in Oh, yeah, what stage used to be in.
Well, I mean, I can't speak to all the details of the one over there. I can tell you the one thing, just from what I know about it at the time, is that this one, everybody in the district, the people that, the owners of the stores in the district, basically have all come and said, we want this to happen. We need this in order to attract these companies. And I think that's one of the big differences is there was some discussion that some people were getting taxed at business owners that weren't in favor of it. All of these business owners are in favor of it.
Now, let me ask the city one more question before I sit down. The tax was added to the people out on Highway 6, out that way. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
The business. Is that taxes used for that particular area only, or used all over the entire city?
Yeah, that tax is, basically, you've got a portion of it goes to Northwestern. There's an agreement, a 60-40 agreement for it to go to Northwestern. But then it's, it's really improvements. And Kevin, I don't know if you would know Kevin.
I mean, I can just.
It's supposed to be park improvements as well, right?
I can speak on the park. I mean, the turf, everybody thinks that the field playing turf is lifetime, and it's just as much maintenance involved in it sometimes as there is regular grass. And right now we have a project going, replacing all the batter's boxes, all the high traffic areas, and that doesn't come cheap. It's $13,000 just to replace the batter's boxes out there on the 5 fields. There's 600 kids out there playing tonight, so you can imagine, not tonight, but the season started tonight, so there's a lot going on out there. But that's used for, I can't speak for finance, but that's what it's used for, is to do things like projects like that.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I believe a percentage of that comes to the city. The city gets a percentage, not all of it. I don't think it was 1%, I believe it's 6%, I think, out Highway 6. But the finance director should be able to answer that for you as to how much the city gets and how much stays out there.
So how much the city gonna get off the new project over at this
It's only
particular?
1%.
They're gonna get 1%.
Well, no, so let me clarify.
Because he just say they don't get nothing.
No, this is
No,
the
it's
part
totally
that's really great for the city. In this case, that 1% tax will go just to help for the cost of the improvements, to bring that back into commerce, but no money from the city will be going there. All the money that's collected there in sales tax. So for instance, once this development is done, they're projecting, and Randy, tell me if I'm wrong, somewhere between $700,000, $800,000 in additional revenue and additional taxes that haven't been paid ever since those stores have closed, and also the utility bills and everything else. So all of that revenue for the regular 4.5% tax, sales tax the city already collects, well, they'll start to collect it again. This 1% is not coming from the city in terms of something they were already getting. It's an additional that will just be used to reimburse, and as a result, the city's going to start bringing in significant additional revenues they weren't before.
Now, you should explain it like that for
And I think I think it's pertinent to say it's temporary.
Yes, it's temporary.
10 years.
Absolutely. It's
Expires in
temporary,
10
and
years.
basically, in the cooperative endeavor agreement, there's an exhibit to the resolution that just shows an example. However, that still needs to be finalized, and basically, those final details will be hammered out by the city and the developer within the confines of what we've talked about.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. I
Absolutely.
think we've got a motion and a second. Roll call vote, Ms. Stacy.
Nelson.
Yes.
Yes.
Smith. Harrington.
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Council. That motion carries. Steve, I think we have just a few more. No, we already did that one. Next meeting is the 25th of April. City of Natchitoches will be closed Friday for Good Friday. Crave event is the 21st, 5 through 7. That's a chamber event. It's a great event, so if you don't have your tickets, get those. Murder Mystery, Pasta Passion, and Pistols. That's going to be this Wednesday, April 13th at 6 p.m. In the NSU Student Union Ballroom, featuring Wayne Holm. So we found out about this today, and certainly if you have an opportunity, put it on your calendar, 6 p.m., go see Wayne in performance. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Love the Boot Week is next week. Again, we're pushing, I'm asking for different organizations, or if you don't have an organization, people, groups, churches, whatever the case may be, register a cleanup and actually clean up and certainly take pictures. And I think there's I think they say @Keep Louisiana Beautiful and hashtag Love the Boot is what they're trying to promote. And then there's just a couple other announcements before we adjourn. Thanks, Steve. The next slide. Oh, that's it? No, I thought it was something else. Oh, it won't move? Oh, see? Okay, so just to show you the City Hall, because of our schedule, Friday's going to be closed, and then we've got City Hall from 7 to 4:30, Thursday 7 to 12, 7 to noon, and then you got the utility service hours. As always, we're encouraging everybody to download the Go Natchitoches app. Also, download Regroup for messaging about emergency alerts. And then we're still encouraging people to apply for emergency rental assistance as well. Last thing we've got is the April challenge, the St. Jude Walk Run, 100 miles this April. This is Thursday, April the 14th from 4 to 6 at Park Natchitoches. And that's it. Bring your family, friends, community members, come out, walk a few miles for St. Jude. All right, Council, at this particular time,
Make motion we adjourn.
we have the announcements. Here, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks.